And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sarah DeVello, and I'm so excited to welcome back tonight one of my favorite guests ever, the incredible Oline Cogdill, who is a book reviewer for the Florida Sun Sentinel, Publishers Weekly, Shelf Awareness, and so many other places. And she is here tonight to reveal for the first time her best book picks for winter. Get ready. Here she goes. Oline, give us the scoop. What are you loving?
Hi there. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad I can't see who's here, but I know you're out there. So thank you for showing up. Sarah, thank you for having me again. I love your program. And thank to Murder by the Book for hosting this. It's always a pleasure. January is just starting out so well. I think it's a really good indication of how great this year is going to be with mystery fiction. Ooh. I thought last year was terrific, but this year is just coming out of the barn roaring. So let me get started and interrupt me whenever you want to. First book I'm going to recommend is Hide by Tracy Clark.
Yay!
I am a big fan of Tracy. And this time she steps away from her award-winning Cass Raines novels for a new series. And it really very much, it incorporates the police procedural with a gripping emotional story about dealing with grief, surviving the worst loss, and also kind of finding comfort and solace in the work and the work you do and how you can make a difference in other people's lives. And it has a lot going on. It's also a good look at Chicago, which is always one of my favorite towns. My best friend lives there. Hide revolves around the intelligent Chicago police detective Harriet Foster. And her son was murdered 5 years ago. Her marriage ended. And very recently, her police partner committed suicide. And her partner was also her best friend. So she took a leave of absence. And she is just coming back to work, and she's just going to a new squad because she's hoping that a new boss, a new squad, a new partner will kind of help her get over her grief. It's a tremendous beginning to a new series, and I cannot wait to see what she does with the rest of this. So.
Ooh, well, I am loving that pick, and I'm so excited to share that Tracy is going to be on the show next week, Monday, January 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Oline, you're already getting some comments. So first from Kathy Boone Reel, she says, "Hi, Oline. I know I'm going to get interrupted by supper, but I am so excited to hear about the books that you are recommending."
Hi,
Kathy, we're all excited. We have a mystery user saying, "Hi, Sarah and Oline." Annalie Sandra is saying she's been looking forward to this. Can't wait for she got some great recommendations from you last time, she says. Kathy says she's reading Hide now, and it's so great. Kathy, isn't it so great?
It really is.
She was in a small chat with Tracy Clark yesterday, and it was fabulous. We talked about Hide mostly. Well, be sure to join us next week as well, Kathy, where she'll talk more about it. Oline, what's your next book pick? I'm dying to know.
And by the way, not all these books I have reviewed, and not all I'm going to be able to review because, so many books, so little time, only me.
Sure.
The next one is Exiles by Jane Harper. Now, each of Jane Harper's novels is set in Australia and in a different area of Australia. And it really gets me knowing this country that I don't think I'll ever be able to go to. And I just love them. This is her third outing with Aaron Falk, he was in the lead in 2018's Force of Nature, another one of my favorite books. And Falk is with the Australian Federal Police Financial Division, but apparently that means he can just do whatever he wants to. Here he's looking into the case of a mother who disappeared during a popular food and wine festival, and she left the stroller with her 5-week-old daughter in the stroller storage area. So that's just, that's chilling to me that, a little baby would be found like that. Yeah. And she, it's just a tremendous book. I love Jane Harper.
I love Jane Harper too. I actually lived in Australia for a little bit, and I love the land. I love the people, and I love going back to Australia on the pages with Jane Harper. She has such a beautiful way about writing about the landscape. It really comes alive.
Yeah, so many things. I never knew about it. I'm sorry.
Kathy's saying, woohoo, I can't wait to read Jane Harper's new one. She said the show's so good, she had to bring her computer to the dinner table so she doesn't miss anything.
Oh my God, Kathy, thank you. How lovely.
Oh my gosh. Oline, what's your next book pick?
Okay. Yeah, apparently this is the month of the Harpers, because the next book is Everyone Knows by Jordan Harper. A friend and fellow critic told me that this book will singe your eyebrows off. And she was right. You know, much has been written, and of course will be written, about the corrupting forces of power and money, and whether that's in business, government, or being a celebrity. And, you know, being rich and famous can be a lethal weapon in the wrong hands. And somebody has to clean up those messes that people don't want the public to know about. Harper won the Edgar for his debut novel, She Rides Shotgun. And Everyone Knows is just flat out amazing. And it's dark. It's very dark. It's about a young woman who's a publicist, and she's what they call a black bag publicist. She goes around and cleans up the messes. And these are really messes. You know, there's every perversion, every nasty thing that you can imagine that people don't want to know. And anything can be spinned if you have the right tools to do that. And it's very much about, she needs redemption, but she doesn't know she's losing her soul. It's not a book for everybody, but it's very dark. It's very good. It shows us a view of Los Angeles that other people don't. What's interesting to me is that cities have different views from different people. You know, Jordan Harper's vision of Los Angeles is not Michael Connelly's. It's not Robert Cray's. It's not Denise Hamilton. Everyone has a different approach to the city that they live in. And I love that. I just love that. So I highly recommend Everybody Knows. And it will send your eyebrows out.
Mike, welcome to the conversation. Mike O'Neill says he is reading that book now.
Oh, good.
Mike, let us know. Is it singeing your eyebrows? I just love that. Kathy Boone Real saying Jordan Harper. Yes. Okay, cool. This is a new author to me, so I have not heard of this book. I'm very excited to learn, and it is available right here from Murder by the Book. Excellent. Thanks, Oline.
Okay, the next one is Hunter. By Jennifer Herrera. You can probably see some of my notes are still in the book side.
I love it.
Okay. You know, the idyllic small town just does not exist. It's certainly not in mystery fiction. That's a fact that I think every book set in those small towns that are so lovely shows. And this one, NYPD homicide detective Lee O'Donnell, she wrestles with being from a small town and in her background. She left her town of Copper Falls, Ohio. Sounds great, doesn't it? About 14 years ago. She's never come back, not even for weddings or hospitalizations. New York offered her that refuge and that home that she wanted. It gave her a husband, a child who's 4 years old, and a career as a homicide detective. She's now been suspended for pulling her gun on her police partner. And she doesn't know why she did this. She still cannot rectify that with herself. So she's returned home to Copper Falls with her because her brother, who's also a cop, really wants her to come back. He's got a case that no one knows what to do about. And she has a really good solve rate. She's one of the best detectives they have in New York, but you can't pull your gun on another cop without a reason. And the job is that there's 3 healthy 25-year-old men who have apparently committed suicide or were they murdered. And their bodies were found in the nearby waterfalls. And it mirrors other deaths that have occurred during the last 20, 25 years. To understand her hometown, Lee has to look into her own past and also about the town's past. It's a debut. I read a little bit from the author, said that she hadn't thought about doing a series, but once she finished it, she believes that she has so much more to tell about. And Copper Falls, one of the things, it's a very white town. There's no Black people, there's no brown people who live there. She married a Black man, a Black cop. Her daughter is biracial. So she's wrestling with that. Does she bring her daughter to a town where she will be the only person of color? So there's a lot going on in this book, and I highly recommend it. Okay, ready for the next one?
Someone's saying they love seeing your notes stuck in the book and they're wondering what else they might say. I think we're all wondering.
Well,
I want to see that notebook, Oline.
As a journalist, I have to take notes when I'm reading a book. And sometimes the note is just nice or what? But also I want to make sure I got the names right and I have plot twists, things I want to quote, things like that. So this is another book that is very different.
Lee Raymond is saying Lee Raymond says, I love that it is a pen and paper for those notes. Totally. I love knowing that Oline writes with that pen and paper. Thanks for the comment, Lee.
And Lee, thank you for showing. Lee is my sister-in-law. So I'm very glad to see her here. Hi, Lee. Hi to Tom. This next book is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone.
Well, that is an intriguing title.
Right? I love it. And the narrator of the story is Ernie Cunningham. And it's a very clever mystery. And he isn't kidding when he says everyone in his family really has killed someone. And he says that, he's not joking. He says he's very serious about murder. He says some of us are high achievers. We killed more than once. And it's a very unique mystery. And I don't want to give too much away because, it's just so complicated. Or not complicated, but it's so well constructed. He does what I think is kind of the impossible, is he melds the cozy with the hard-boiled. And he has very sophisticated wit, characters who have myriad motives, and plotting that it doesn't indulge in, it indulges in cliches, but it also avoids the predictable. He just does a whole lot of things that you don't expect. He's also a comedian and worked in the publishing industry for a while. So I think it really kind of shows everyone in my family has killed someone.
Oline, do you like, I know you said that he's married the hard-boiled with the cozy. Do you like when people do genre or subgenre mashups, or is that generally a cautionary tale?
No, I love it. If it's done right, it works so well. Some authors, they're doing a police procedural and that's it, and that works fine for them. But you have other authors like Michael Connelly does the police procedural, but it's also a character study. And when, there's a lot of people doing science fiction right now, adding it into mysteries or supernatural into mysteries. If it works great.
Ooh, if it works great. I like that. That's a great quote. Thank you.
Okay, now, all right. Here's another book. All the Dangerous Things by Stacy Willingham.
Ooh.
Now, she had one of my favorite books last year, which, of course, I'm now blanking on what it was. Oh, Flicker in the Dark. And she has a really good way with characters and plot and making them very different. This is not the same as her first book. It's another standalone. And it's about how grief has consumed this woman. She's a journalist. And for the past year, she cannot sleep because her toddler son, Mason, was taken from his crib in the middle of the night in their home. No one broke in. No one knows what happened. And she cannot sleep. She's had cat naps through the year, but basically no sleep. So she's basically the Walking Dead. And it's morphed into an obsession. She accuses everyone she sees of having taken Mason, her neighbors, the nice man at the grocery store, everyone she believes could be guilty. But there's also, it's ruined her marriage. The police investigation has stalled, and people seem to think that she may have had something to do with it. She's speaking at true crime conventions, hoping that someone somewhere will provide a clue to his disappearance. And I think the way that Stacey Willingham constructs this is very, very strong. And she's giving a full portrait of the woman and a full portrait of this grief that is just consuming her. And it also kind of hits back to the woman's childhood when a tragedy occurred and it forced her father, who had a promising political career, that career was stalled then. Very, very good. Okay.
So you liked both the development of the plot and the character's grief in that book.
It worked very well. Very well. Okay. The Devil You Know.
Julie is saying she also loves Stacey Willingham's book. Mike's saying Stacey's one of my newest favorite authors, and I also love knowing that that she wrote another favorite book of yours, which was her first, A Flicker in the Dark. Way to go, Stacey! Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing what you really loved about that, and thank you, Mike and Julie, for telling us what you love about her.
Okay, The Devil You Know by P.J. Tracy. Now, some readers may recognize the name of P.J. Tracy. It was the pseudonym of a mother-daughter writing team, P.J. and Tracy Lambrecht. I think I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that. They won the Anthony, the Barry, the Gumshoe, the Minnesota Book Award, all kinds of things. They wrote the cyber thriller series called Monkey Wrench. Now, sadly, Tracy died a few years ago, but her daughter, PJ, is continuing their legacy with a new series. And this is about LAPD detective Margaret Nolan. She returns in her latest case, and the body of a beloved actor is found in the rubble of a Malibu rock slide. And this was after a fake video had ruined his career. And it's not clear if it's an accident or a suicide or murder. And, the investigation, continues to his fellow celebrities, his friends, his enemies. I think, like it or not, we're all kind of intrigued by celebrity, and I think that we're all intrigued by what Hollywood considers its untouchables, because we may not like them, we don't really care, but there's something about them we just want to know. And I think she really does that with this. She also has a veteran, a young veteran in the book. And that's also continuous of a trend I've seen a lot with veterans as heroes in mysteries. Okay.
And you have a couple comments here. Julie saying she didn't like this new PJ Tracy as much as the Monkey Wrench series. Kathy saying she's seeing a ton of buzz for The Devil You Know. This book is new to me, so I have not read the Monkey Wrench series or the standalone. So this is very cool. Thank you, Oline.
And everyone, what I love is everyone has different tastes. We don't all have to like the same book.
What did you think? Julie's saying that what she particularly liked about the Monkey Wrench series was the quirkiness of the characters, and she felt that that the new one was lacking the quirky factor.
Yeah, it's not, the new series is not quirky at all. It's much more serious. And I like Monkey too, because it was very quirky. You never knew where these characters were going through. So I did like that a lot too.
Oh, and we have a mystery user saying, Oline, you sold me on the new PJ Tracy books.
All right.
And you have a question. Oh, go ahead, Oline. Did you have a response to that?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You have a question from an audience member who says, I really like murder mysteries set in the UK. Are there any new recommendations for books set in the UK?
There are, and I am totally blanking on them right now. I am so sorry.
Well, I hosted today Janice Hallett, who wrote the Twyford Code, which takes place in South London. So if you like South London and you like word puzzles and codes, she actually investigated the Enigma code from World War II, which was how we cracked the German code and ended World War II. Excuse me, how the British, Alan, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. It begins with a T. Created the computer code that cracked the Enigma code. And so if you like codes and you like books set in the UK, check out the Twyford Code. I hosted her today. And I believe this mystery user is Wendy. Wendy, is this you? Let us know. Okay, Oline, tell us your next big exciting pick.
Decent People by DeSean Charles Winslow, who was on your show last night or a couple nights ago?
Last Monday. Thank you for tuning
last
in.
Monday, right? Time. Decent People chronicles the aftermath of a triple homicide, and it rocks a segregated Southern community. And residents of the mid-70s West Mills, North Carolina, they become embroiled in the shooting of 3 Black siblings. And the local police have really turned a blind eye. And so it's up to a citizen-led investigation to kind of move this investigation forward. And it's very much a character-driven story. It delves into racism, local history, family dynamics. And I listened to him being interviewed by you last Monday. Oh, thank you. And it's a really fascinating book. So I'm really, really high on this.
And we have a couple comments on that. Carrie, welcome to the conversation. He's saying, I can't wait to read Decent People. Carrie, I think you'll really enjoy it. I know I did. And would you say it's a police procedural? I mean, it's not a police woman, but she's leading the investigation. Oline, how would you describe it?
I would consider it more like a private detective.
PI, thank you. Yes.
You know, I mean, she's not an official detective, but the private detective category can include non-professionals. It's definitely not an amateur. It's definitely, I mean, she is an amateur, but she's a journalist, and journalists are kind of their own type of investigative reporters.
Absolutely. Julie is saying she loved Decent People. What great characters. Weren't the characters just so real, so feisty? I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kathy saying Decent People has one of my favorite covers ever. It's the light in the picture that's so interesting. And she says she will be reading it for sure. So everybody, you can order your copy of it right here. So I'll pop that up. You can grab the Oline picked Decent People by DeSean Charles Winslow right here. Here's the link. Thank you, Oline.
Sure. And please order your books on Murder by the Book. It is a great store. The owner is absolutely terrific. Her staff is first rate. And I wish I lived in Houston because I would be there every week, I'm afraid.
Exactly. Here again is that link.
I had this book down for February, and I just found out from Sarah it's actually a January title. So we're going to talk about this. And it's a little bit different than what I usually recommend. So let's change it up for a little bit. This is a culinary mystery series called Against the Current, a Spice Isle Bakery Mystery. And the author is Olivia, you can see that it's a little
Matthews.
And this is her first Spice Isle Bakery Mystery. And it also follows a trend that I've been noticing a lot in culinary mysteries. And that is culinary mysteries showcasing different ethnic backgrounds. I love this idea. We have Mia P. Manasala, who looks at the Filipino culture. We have Vivian Chin's Noodle Shop Mysteries. Abby Collette has 2 series. One of them is Books and Biscuits. Miami author Raquel Reese melds Cuban-American culture in her exciting series. And the list goes on. And I find this is absolutely wonderful. Because this is cooking is such a part of everyone's culture.
Yes.
And Against the Current revolves around Lindsay Murray. She's opening the Spice Isle Bakery with her family. The West Indian Bakery is on her way to give back to her community, to stay connected with her culture, and to work side by side with her family. But there's a rival baker, and he has other ideas.
Kathy is noting that is such a clever title, Against the Current. And I notice a lot of cozies have very clever punny titles, Oline.
Oh, yes.
They're really fun, aren't they? That, of course, being a pun on the currant, which is the little fruit like the raisin.
Right.
Adorable. I love it. Kathy, such a great point. Thank you. Carrie saying he was there this weekend. Murder by the Book, fantastic bookstore. And Grady Hendrix is going to be there on Friday. Grady's with his new book, The Haunted House. Can't wait to hear more about that. And Wendy, aka Catch a Clue, says, I wish I lived closer to the bookstore. Guess what, Kathy? Guess what? Catch a Clue, Wendy. They ship. So anybody can order. And here's the link, and the good folks at Mermaid Book will send it right out to you. So no worries at all.
Absolutely. And again, these are such good books this winter, and I had to narrow it down to have only 8 for each month. So there's so many others out there. The stack in my office just kept getting bigger and bigger. So, all right.
Wendy, aka Catch a Clue, is saying, "Oh yes, I've ordered for them." Oh, Wendy, thank you so much. Thanks for supporting the bookstore. I appreciate you.
Please do. February.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
ready for February? February is kind of a powerhouse, and it's got authors that I can only describe as powerhouses. And let's start first of all with Walter Mosley.
Yes.
Okay, Every Man a King, and this is a King Oliver novel. Now, he takes a break from his Easy Rawlins series, and frankly, I prefer the Easy Rawlins novels. I just love those. I think they're absolutely terrific. But this is a really cool second series he has going. P.I. Joe King Oliver is a former New York City cop, and he was last seen in 2018 in Down the River, Unto the Sea. Down the River, Unto the Sea. Big long name. Okay, in this one, his grandmother's billionaire boyfriend, we all wish we had a billionaire boyfriend, asked him to look into the arrest of an alt-right movement leader and race baiter. Now, Joe believes that the charges are bogus, but he doesn't want to be involved with a notorious bigot. Meanwhile, his ex-wife's husband has been arrested for selling heating oil as diesel fuel through connections to the Russian mob. There's all these little connections that go through his.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah, it's a fun read. Mosley just is such a good plotter, and I also think he's very good about characters. I mean, if you look at the very first Easy Rawlins novel, Devil in a Blue Dress, it shows the life and challenges of a young Black man in post-World War II who was a veteran and trying to, come back to civilization. And he's a good author. I like him a lot. He was a Grand Master a few years ago, and I was honored to interview him for the MWA Edgars.
Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. I mean, Walter Mosley is such a legend. So I love that he stepped away from his Easy Rawlins series, and you are still, just such a fan. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. Okay, this one, Murder Your Employer, the McMaster's Guide to Homicide. And the cover it doesn't show up too well with the light. And this is by Rupert Holmes. Okay, there is nothing that Rupert Holmes cannot do. He is a songwriter. He wrote the Pina Colada song, which is also called Escape. He's a singer. He's a playwright. He wrote the brilliant TV series Remember When. His plays have included The Mystery of Edmund Drood. He took that over. Curtains, he worked on that. And he's phenomenal. He's also has several mysteries to his name, and he's a big fan of mysteries. Murder Your Employer is a self-study guide for those who can't afford tuition to the McMaster's Conservatory for the Applied Arts. It's a finishing school for finishing people off.
My gosh.
Its location is kept secret from those people who are enrolled. And the novel kind of chronicles the experiences of 3 students from different walks of life. And they're all at McMaster's for the same reason. They want to kill their sadistic employers, and they don't want to get caught.
Ooh, now Kathy is saying, how have I not heard of this one? Kathy, I'm wondering the same thing. I have not heard of this, but this is why we have Oline on, because she always has the best, most fabulous picks. And some of them you're like, how have I not heard of this book? I mean, it's just the title alone.
I know, right?
Title. Jay Avenel is saying a finishing school for finishing people off. I love that. I was just about to say the same thing. I love that. That is so funny. Oh my gosh.
I haven't gotten to the book yet, but I can't wait for it. I am a big fan of Rupert Holmes, and I just think the man is an absolute genius. So,
yay. So you read a lot by him.
I've read his 3 mysteries. I've seen several of the plays he's done. look him up. He's phenomenal. Okay, house guest.
Yay!
Hank Libby Ryan. Now, Hank Libby Ryan never disappoints. She's built a career on superb psychological thrillers, usually revolving around women who are at the low point of their life and how they climb out of that. And this one, House Guest, revolves around Alyssa McKellen. I think I'm probably pronouncing it right. Her husband, Bill, has just left her for no apparent reason. Bill is a big deal charity fundraiser. He is quite wealthy. With him, she had this glamorous life with parties and galas and beautiful clothes and jewelry. He didn't just leave her, he also took all their friends, and now she's kind of a nobody to people. No one wants to talk to her in a former circle. She knows that now she didn't have real friends. She had, Bill's friends. And she meets a young woman in a hotel bar. They're both there just kind of drowning their sorrows. And this young woman seems to have more problems than she has. And the women become friends. And Alyssa sees a way that she can help this young woman and actually asks her to be her house guest.
You got it. Oh my gosh. I love everything about that. We've got some comments coming in. Julie saying, I really want to read The House Guest. Absolutely fantastic. Kathy saying, I love Hank's books. The House Guest is waiting for me to read next up. And I am thrilled to share that Hank will be coming on live on Monday, February 6th at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern to give us the inside scoop on The House Guest and take all of your questions live. So y'all be sure to tune in there. And if you can't join us live, DM me your questions and I will ask for you and give you a special shout out. Someone saying, Mr. User saying, one of my favorite authors. Yes, Queen HPR, Hank Philippi Ryan for the win. Thank you.
The person who asked about UK authors, one book I almost talked about is C.J. Tudor. And I can't remember the latest one that's coming out. But thank you. So many books, so little mine. And it almost made the cut, but I just had so many I wanted to focus on. So I highly recommend C.J. Tudor. She also kind of puts in the supernatural in a mystery and really kind of works them well. Okay.
And actually, I can share that CJ Tudor, known as Kaz, is coming on the show next week. That's Monday, January 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern to give us the inside scoop on Drift. And then I'm hosting a live event with her in New York City on February 1st. So if you're in New York, join us February 1st. And if you're anywhere else, join us online right here, 3 p.m. January 30th for CJ Tudor.
Oh, wonderful. I love her books. And again, it was just so many books I had to say no to some of them. I actually brought a few out that in case we run short, but I don't think we're going to run short.
And actually, Wendy is saying that was her question. And thank you so much for recommending it.
Absolutely. Okay. Another one of the top authors is CJ Box.
Another CJ. Yay.
That's right. Stormwatch. And this is his 23rd novel by Wyoming game warden Joe Pickett. I can't believe it's been 23 years, but he is so good. Also, the TV series Big Sky, which is on Tuesdays, is based on one of his series. It's actually based on, I think, the book The Highway, which was one of the most terrifying books I ever read. It's about a serial killer who's also a truck driver. Okay, Stormwatch. And this one, Joe finds the body of a University of Wyoming professor, but there's a snowstorm that's quickly approaching. So Joe has to leave the body. But when he returns, it's missing. And CJ Box, who's also a very nice guy, I've interviewed him several times, and he's a great interviewer too. He always includes a heavy environmental component to his novels, as well as showing how people can be so careless with the land and with themselves. And he shows us things that we may not be aware of in nature. In this case, a gang has been gathering sheds, which are antlers that bull elks shed every spring out of season. Apparently, there's a market for this.
Who knew? So, so you like how he writes about the land and the impact? Yeah,
I
very
do.
cool.
I like everything. I love his character. Joe Pickett is happily married. He loves his children. He loves his job, and he's just a darn nice guy. And you always want to root for him. And he knows that the world is bad, can be bad.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
Next couple of authors are people I think are real up and comers. They have
ooh,
several books to their name, and they
mm,
are authors that readers really should keep an eye on and read everything they've done. Now,
mm.
first one is Time's Undoing by Cheryl A. Head.
Ooh.
Now, this is a new series launch from the author who I just think keeps getting better and better. And in this one, Time's Undoing, Black journalist Megan McKenzie investigates an ancestor's murder. The family legend has that her grandfather was killed in 1929 by a cop in Alabama, a white cop. And but she finds out there's a lot more to the story than a simple murder. And her investigation allows her to connect with older Black residents who provide information and direction for her search, and also with her own family history. Cheryl Head, I'm really glad this is a hardcover, and I'm really glad to see she's getting a real push from Dutton.
Yay, yay. Well, here's the link to order that. And thank you for that fabulous recommendation, Oline. This is so cool to hear about all these books you love.
Okay, my last February pick is No Time for Killers.
Ooh.
Amar, is that how you pronounce his name?
I think it's Ed Amar. Yes. Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
And actually, I'm thrilled to share that Ed will be coming on the show on February 6th as well at 7 p.m. and giving us the inside scoop on this book.
Oh, good, good. Well, I highly recommend it. In this one, he pulls together a story about two sisters, their murdered brother, and all kinds of family secrets. What would we do without family secrets and mysteries, right? The sisters knew their brother had enemies. He was a jazz musician and a social activist, and his protest songs riled a lot of people. So I highly recommend that. And if you will just indulge me a little bit while I get to March.
And actually, you have a comment about your last book. Kathy saying, Cheryl Head is an author I'm hoping to fit into my reading and reviewing schedule this week. This one would be good to start with. Yeah, let us know what you think, Kathy.
Yes, absolutely. And Kathy, again, thanks for showing up and having dinner with us.
Yeah, bringing us with us to your dinner table. I only wish we could eat what you're serving. She's saying Ed is so crazy. I love his Facebook post and promotion for this book too. I will be reading No Home for Killers. Eddie's hilarious on social media. I crack up reading his posts.
Yeah, I see him on Facebook a lot. I love the picture of the little dogs, but then again, I'm a dog person, so.
Same. I love his pictures of the dogs and everybody's pictures of dogs.
Okay, let's go to March. And March is going in like a lion. Isn't that the phrase? Going in like a lion or something like that.
Oh, in like a lion, out like a lamb.
Whatever.
It's coming in like a lion, coming in hot.
Okay. First off is Confidence by Raphael Frumpkin. I just like saying his name.
Yeah, Frumpkin.
Frumpkin. Okay, this is a queer take on the caper novel. And in this, insecure, brainy Ezra and handsome, charismatic Orson, they meet as teenagers at the Last Chance Camp, which is kind of a pre-juvenile detention program. And they become instant friends. And they start out as being precocious con men in the making. And after their release, they partner for a series of mini cons. And they devise their greatest one, finding a company named New Life that sells happiness. It sells happiness via a wearable magnet. Now, Ezra handles the business side. Orson takes care of all the things spiritual. And New Life Company grows into a huge success, making them just wealthy. But their empire comes under attack from a relentless financial investigator, a Stanford graduate, and he says he stole the idea from him, and a Hollywood starlet. The con men made me remember a book I loved a few years ago called A Beautiful Crime by Christopher Bolin, which I thought was just absolutely terrific. It was also about two men who were con men in Venice. So, okay. A Flaw in the Design by Nathan Oates. And a lot of these books are new to me, and I haven't heard some of these authors in the past and I haven't read them. So I'm loving the fact that I get to choose and get to find new authors. This is very much of a psychological thriller. 17-year-old Matthew's wealthy, Manhattan-like parents have died in a suspicious car accident. He's forced to live with his uncle Gil in Vermont. Now, Gil doesn't feel comfortable around Matthew. Matthew has a temper. He has a very dark side. He knows he's a teenager, but he's kind of a criminal in the making. When he was a boy, Matthew stood by as Gil's daughter nearly drowned in a pool. But Gil is in debt, and Matthew has this $1 million trust fund. And the reader has to kind of figure out, is Matthew really a sociopath, or is it Gil? Or is it a combination of the two of them creating this whole new personality? Flaw in the Design.
I love that you said a lot of these authors are new to you and that you're loving the chance to discover them. Kathy says this author is new to me too. Same, Kathy. This author is new to me. I have not heard of them. Very cool.
And that's the great thing about mysteries, is we always have new authors to discover, and I absolutely love it. We're doing okay on time? Yeah, I think we are. Okay. The other one is, this next book is also a departure for me. It's called Red Queen. And it's by Juan Gomez Arroyo. This is a thriller. It's more of a thriller than crime fiction. And it's about Antonia Scott. She is a genius. She has off-the-chart intelligence and analytical skills. And that's made her very much of a valued member of this covert organization that handles sensitive criminal investigations. But after her husband is nearly killed, and she takes the blame because she was really the target, I think. I don't know. She becomes very much of a recluse. But her skills are needed again when a bank executive is kidnapped. Now, the Red Queen, the plot has been compared to Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. And Antonia has been compared to Elizabeth Salander. I don't know. I am going to be reading this, but it looks like a great pick for the fall.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, for March. I don't know where I'm at.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is high praise.
So that Red Queen. All right. Ready for the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How I'll Kill You.
Wow.
By Ren DeStefano. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing things. I'm getting a little dry here. Many readers may know Ren DeStefano as Lauren DeStefano, who she writes a series of young adult titles.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is going to be a departure for her. How I'll Kill You revolves around identical triplets who were raised in foster homes. Now, I say identical triplets because not all triplets are identical, just like twins. They're now 25 years old, and they maintain a, quote, clean streak of messy crimes across several states. They are now settling into a small town in Arizona where nothing ever happens. That's what they want, so they can kind of go out from there. Then one of the Twisted Sisters falls for one of their victims. Expect a lot of mayhem in this book.
Ooh, and you know what? Actually, I just booked Ren DeStefano to come on Mystery and Thriller Maven. So she will be coming on March 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So stay tuned, everybody, to hear straight from Ren about these identical triplets and all the havoc they're wreaking. I always wish to be a twin, so this sounds right up my alley.
I love that you're having some of these authors, and we never even talked about this before.
No.
And I'm recommending. So this is very exciting for me, too.
Yay, Kathy's saying another great title. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah. Okay. The Raven Thief, a secret staircase mystery by Gigi Pandian. This is Pandian's sequel to last year's Underlock and Skeleton Key.
Yes.
I think this is a great series. And I also think it's a great series for young adults are very sophisticated children to get into mysteries, because it will appeal to both adults and young adults. teenagers, sophisticated children. So it's a good series. In this, it revolves around magician Tempest Raj, I think it is. She witnesses a crime marked by multiple impossibilities, and it takes place during a seance.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, I love
Right?
that.
Now, Tempest's parents, they run the Secret Staircase Construction Company, and that's a company that builds houses with secret passages, sliding bookcases, something my husband and I have always wanted to have in our home and never probably will. And it's very much a throwback to the, it kind of honors the classic golden age mysteries. So again, I highly recommend this.
Ooh, we have another comment from YouTube. Eniel, I hope I'm saying that name right. Let me know. I want to be corrected. I want to get it right. Saying, I love this so much. I hardly ever find mystery and thriller YouTubers. Well, welcome, friend. You're in the right place. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Okay. I got two more that I've told you about, and then I have some others I can talk about if we run out of time. Ooh. William Landry, All That Is Mine, I Carry With Me. Now, William Landry's Defending Jacob was one of my favorite novels a few years ago. And it was very, very twisty and very, very, very good. I think there's also a Netflix film about it, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm really looking forward. See if I can hold that up. Really looking forward to this. And I have high hopes for All That Is Mine, I Carry With Me. Great title. And this one, author Philip Solomon is writing a novel about a 1975 cold case in which a mother named Jane Larkin disappeared. Just disappeared one afternoon. Her children were friends of Philip, who's writing this novel. And his story causes a lot of disagreement among Larkin's family. Many of them have tried to forget about the disappearance, to kind of move on, and some don't want the past dredged up. So I have high hopes for this.
Ooh, and actually, a funny story about that. We have two comments. First of all, from Kathy saying there is a movie for Defending Jacob. Yes, and actually, Chris Evans is in it. And the funny thing is, so I was walking my little rescue dog every day we go to the dog store and we get a biscuit. And the dog store was closed, and there were all these movie cameras, and the movie studio had rented the dog store out to change it into a law firm for the movie. So if you see the movie and you see Chris Evans at work in his law firm, that's my dog store. And I didn't get a biscuit that day because Chris Evans was trying to film his law firm. So take that, Chris Evans.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
Right. I'm like, it's because when you watch it, now you know that his law firm smells like dog biscuits.
Love it.
Julie is saying she doesn't think this one was quite as good as Defending Jacob. Okay, good to know, because Jacob was one of your favorite books of the year when it came out.
It was.
Okay.
And I have not gotten to this one yet. So that's a March one. I'm still trying to finish up my January and February book. So, I each month.
Oh my God, too many books, too little time. Well, I am loving all of these recommendations.
Okay, Loyalty by Lisa Scalalini. I've always liked her books a lot. She had the women's law firm, and she goes back a long time. And this one, she's actually been getting into more historical crime fiction. She delves into the origins of the Sicilian mafia. And it's a very intriguing story of a kidnapping. It's a complicated plot. It begins in the 19th century. It includes twin brothers, lemon growers, protection rackets, and the corruption of the law enforcement in Sicily. It's really historical crime fiction at its best. So,
I love a good mafia book, and I love Lisa Scalalini. So this is fabulous. So Loyalty by Lisa Scalalini. Here's the link to pre-order. This book comes out in March. Here you can pre-order it. It's the day it drops. The good folks at Murder by the Book will send it out to you.
Yes, they will. They will. Okay. It Wouldn't Be March.
Oh, we have one more comment about that. Kathy's saying Lisa Scalalini is wonderful to see speaking about her books. She is an entertaining guest. I'll try to get her back. She is a ton of fun.
She is. She's very articulate. I like her a lot. Okay, it would not be March if we didn't have Harlan Coben.
Yay!
Okay. I think that he owns March like Michael Connelly owns November.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, I Will Find You is his latest standalone. And in this one, David Burrows has been in a Maine penitentiary for 5 years for murdering his 3-year-old son.
Ooh.
He's also a sleepwalker, and he has no memory of the murders or what happened that night or anything. Now, Harlan, his plots are always twisty and complicated, but somehow they make sense. We've got conspiracies, a child who may be still alive, FBI agents, and a sympathetic prison warden.
Ooh, that is good. So I love that you said Harlan Coben owns March the way Michael Connelly owns November. I need to get that on a hat or a t-shirt. Right. I love that. Kathy's saying Harlan Coben is also another one you must see speak. I've actually never seen him speak, so I need to check that out. But he seems like a really funny, cool guy.
Oh, he very much is. And I've been following his career since he was in paperback. Original.
I love that.
He's very entertaining. Very entertaining. Now, that's all I told you about. I do know that you recently had
Mary Kubica. Yes. Yay.
She is always so good. And she really does good plots. So these are ones I didn't really do much on, but Finley Donovan.
Ooh. Okay, that was new to me.
This is I think her second or third book in this series. It's very, very funny. It's about a woman. The first book starts, she's talking about killing. Oh, she's a writer, and she's talking about a plot. And the woman next to her thinks she's a contract killer and hires her to kill her husband. And okay, she's doesn't want to do that, but the woman's offering $50,000 and she doesn't have any money.
Nothing to use that.
It's also this is the third one. She's kind of continuing this little side job, and it's also, I think, a story about female friendship. Ooh. And making your own way out there and not depend. She's divorced. It was a very bitter divorce, and so she kind of has to be on her own.
I love that.
And
we have 6 minutes left. So if anyone has any questions for Oline, this is a rare chance to talk to this incredible book critic. You can ask her about her work, how she works, her writing. She writes incredible book reviews and roundups. She writes for Publishers Weekly, Shelf Awareness, the Florida Sun Sentinel. She's an incredibly well-respected book critic. So if you have questions about her writing, her reviewing, her career, go ahead and get them going. I think we can get about 3 questions in. And meanwhile, Oline, while they're typing their questions, you keep going with you, lady.
Hey, Last Scene in La Paz.
Ooh.
Que Quante.
Ooh, yes.
This takes place in Ghana, in Africa. There are a wonderful series about a young woman who is a detective. I highly recommend these books. They really give you such a view of the culture, and he's also a really good speaker. His background, he's a physician.
Ooh, I didn't know that. And actually, Oline, we do have some questions coming in, so let's head over to those. First up, Lee is just saying that you also write amazing reviews for the South Florida Theater. Thank you, Lee. I forgot about those amazing theater reviews. Thank you for that. Now, Julie would like to know, Oline, do you have a favorite genre? And let's also add, or subgenre.
Well, obviously, it's mysteries. I do gravitate more toward the hard-boiled, the tougher type books than I do cozies, but I kind of like everything as long as it's well written. I love standalones. I love police procedurals that do a little bit more than just covering the police, like Michael Connelly's that are also the character studies. I like stories that involve me. And, family dramas are such a big part right now of mysteries. And I found them very, very, very involving. I also love books like, Alex Segura's Secret Identity, which takes you back to the 70s. in the comic book world, and a young woman trying to break into this male-dominated area. I love books that take me to areas I don't know about. One of my other favorite books of the past year was by Tracy Lynn. I can't remember the name, but it takes place in a Vietnamese community in Australia. And the author is named Tracy Lynn, Lien. And again, it takes me to a place I don't know about. And I love that. I love Charles Todd has a new book coming out in February, which takes us to post-World War I. And again, a place I don't know about. And it helps me, it makes me learn something. Everything I know, I learned in mysteries.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Julia is saying thank you, and that she agrees good writing is so important. Kathy says, I just want to add Deborah Crombie's New Kincaid and James book comes out on February 7th, A Killing of Innocence. What do you think of that one, Oline?
I love that series. I have not read the new book. I love the series. I always loved her vision because it's, again, police procedurals in UK, very family oriented. Ooh. And you really know these characters throughout the books, and they change. And I also love authors that give their books a character arc so that they continue to evolve.
Oh, okay. Wendy, aka Catch a Clue, is saying Deborah Crombie is her ultimate favorite. We love that you also enjoy family dramas. Mike saying, how about William Landy's new book? Now that was one of your top recommendations, right? But his Defending Jacob was your favorite book of the year when that one came out.
Right. His new book, where is it here? I haven't gotten to his new book yet, but I have high hopes for it. So I do have high hopes for that.
Yay. Thank you. Okay, great. Let me see if there's, I'm just going through, making sure I didn't miss anybody's question. Thank you so much. We have 3 minutes left. Oline, take the stage, take the mic. Let us know what else, if there's anything else you'd like to share or chat about.
I appreciate the comment about the theater reviews. My husband is a theater critic. Ooh. We have a website called Florida Theater on Stage that covers everything that's professional in South Florida. And we met in theater, and I love theater, and I love mysteries. And it's just a great combination. So many books, so little time. I want people to buy books. My mission is to get books in the hands of readers. And please buy from independent bookstores such as Murder by the Book. These are great stores, and they know their stock. They know your taste, and they will never disappoint you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Kathy is saying, Oline, I've so enjoyed you sharing these books with us tonight. Thank you. Yes, I want to second that. Kathy, first of all, thank you for the comment. Thank you for bringing us to your dining room table, having dinner with us. And Oline, thank you for coming on here and sharing your picks and for having, literally something for everyone, whether you like the hard boiled, whether you like the cozies, whether you like the culinary, whether you like the series, the standalones, different country, there's literally something here for everyone. So Julie's also saying thank you. Mike O'Neill is saying thank you. Thank you all for spending the evening with us. And Oline, thank you for coming back. And y'all, Oline will be back. To share her recommendations. Wendy saying, Oline and Sarah, thank you so much. We have a mystery user saying thank you for the recommendations. Oline, it's such a pleasure to have someone who's so well respected in the industry, who provides such great book recommendations. Again, something for everyone to come on here and share this with us. Annalie saying also, thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure to host you, and we will look forward to you coming back this spring to share your next season's book picks with us.
And Sarah, thank you for this show. I always enjoy coming on here, and I love your interviews. And thank you to Murder by the Book for hosting this. And thank you all readers. Happy reading. Continue to read. And thank you for showing up.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, we have another comment too. Cindy saying, these are amazing recommendations. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cindy, for joining the conversation. Thank you for all of us. Lee saying, great variety of books discussed. This was excellent. So glad I could tune in. We have a mystery user saying, can we find Aline's past recommendations? Yes, we can. I'm going to post a link. I'll grab it right now for the Florida Sun Sentinel. Aline did an incredible roundup just a few weeks ago in December. So you will, she does the best roundups and the best reviews. So you definitely want to follow her. I'm going to grab this link right now for the Florida Sun Sentinel. I'm just grabbing it for you. And then I'm also going to share Aline's links on Facebook so that you can be sure to follow her there. Here's the link for the Sentinel, first of all. And then Carrie is saying, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, Carrie. We appreciate you being here. So here's the link. What's your favorite place to be followed, Aline? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter?
I prefer Facebook. I always post my reviews on there. If you have trouble finding them, just let me know, and I'll send you another link or something like that. The best of the year, it's grown a little bit. It was like 25 this year, but I also included debuts and short stories and reprints, things that every reader would want to know. And there's so many good authors out there and so many different voices that take us to places we want to go, or places we don't want to go, but we want to go just briefly.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So here again is the Florida Sun Sentinel. Anyone can read her reviews, check those out, her roundups. And here is Aline's Facebook, which is just Oline Cogdill, her name. And you can follow her there. She posts all of her reviews and roundups there as well. And then I also make sure to post them in our Mavens group. So you can also follow there so you can get some good book news there. So again, be sure to connect with Aline. She always has the best recommendations. You will not want to miss them.
Thank you so much.
All right, y'all, that is a wrap on Mystery Monday. Oline Cogdill, thank you for coming back. Thanks for all the love and hearts on Facebook. Thank you all for spending your Mystery Monday with us. And Aline will be back in a few months to share her best picks for spring. So stay tuned.
Thank you all.
Have a great night.
Happy reading. Good night.